One, two, one, two. All right, let's roll.
Welcome. You're listening to the Saddle Up Podcast,
where we discuss everything related to UTRGV athletics, past or present. We'll catch up with old teammates, friends, and take you down memory lane
with exclusive interviews.
This is the Saddle Up Podcast,
the voice of your covered walkway streets.
So dope.
This is gonna be awesome.
Stay tuned for new episodes every week.
From Bronx Village to the Fieldhouse,
we'll cover it all.
Hell yeah, dude. Carpe diem.
So saddle up and let's go.
Let's go. Saddle up, partner.
Hey guys, it's Friday. Welcome to another awesome episode of Saddle Up Podcast. G, got my main man. What's going on? How are you doing this week?
Man, I am doing fabulous, Matty P. How are you doing, man?
I'm
Everything
good,
going
man.
all right?
I'm blessed and life is beautiful. But you know who is doing better than both of us right now?
Well, I'm pretty sure he's doing pretty beautiful, as you mentioned. And man, it's the one and only man. And I'll let you introduce him because I'm so ready to start this podcast. It's crazy.
Let me tell a story before I introduce Dr. Yancey. But G calls me last night in the middle of the night, and it's like it's probably like midnight his time in Texas, and he's like, "Dude, are you preparing for this interview? Are you?"
Yeah, I was studying all day yesterday,
and he'd been studying all day because Dr. William Yancey, who is a professor, a U.S. history professor there at UTRGV, joins the show this week. And Dr. Yancey, tell us your significance and why. Like what just happened?
What,
to
Dr. Yancey? Why are you a celebrity?
Why are you a celebrity?
That's
Yancey?
it. Bottom line.
Boy, that sounds weird. Yancey and celebrity together just don't go. But I guess the reason why is I just won Jeopardy's second chance tournament.
That's right.
That is, I mean, and how many times? Okay, so second chance. That means you've been on the show before. And then they invited you back and you did so well and you came back and you won the tournament, right?
Right.
So the fact that you've been on the show twice already is an accomplishment, right? But you won the tournament. How does somebody let me backtrack.
Yeah.
Where did you what fueled the idea of like, hey, I want to be on Jeopardy. I'm gonna pursue this.
It's really been a 40-year dream. When I was I've been watching Jeopardy since, I guess, 84. I was 13 years old.
Wow.
And it started because it got me out of doing some work. So I used to, I grew up in Alabama, and in the summertime, my grandfather had retired by that point, and I always helped him do some gardening. And he came in at 12 o'clock for lunch every day, like clockwork. He eats 12:30, he's back out. Well, Jeopardy came on at 12:30 back then and on that market, and my grandmother liked to watch it with me and see how many questions I could get. And I figured out real quick, if I did this, I got 30 extra minutes in the air conditioning. So I'd watch it with her, and then I fell in love with it. And then I had a cousin that watched it too. My grandmother, I guess she's my second cousin, but my grandmother's sister, it's her granddaughter. And so when the show was over, my grandmother would call her sister and they'd argue with each other about which grandchild did best. So that's what got me started. I guess I tried out for the first time about 20 years ago. That's back before they had an online test, and you had to go to a contestant search somewhere. I was living in the Dallas area at that time, and they had one at the Texas State Fair. So I went, I took the test at the fair, did well on it, got invited to come back for a like a mock round and interview and everything the next day at some big fancy hotel downtown. And never made it into the contestant pool. Then that was and then life happened, and it didn't occur to me again until I guess about 2.5 years ago, spring of 2022. I decided one day I'm just going to take that anytime test online. Did well, went through the whole process, and eventually got called to be on the show.
That's amazing,
Dr. Yancey. There's so many things going through my mind right now. And obviously, I didn't study all day yesterday, but I was excited. To ask you a few questions. But the one thing that this has been a lifelong dream. It was one of our questions already. You answered it, but I mean, talk to us about. I always think about, could I do could I be a great Jeopardy contestant? You know, I was a C student my entire life.
Still is.
Still is, will always be, even if I go back to school, right? Do you think a C student could do well? Like, what were your grades growing up? I mean, were you an A? Were you a B student? I mean, can you give us some kind of confidence as to like, you know, like, can people actually do this? Or were you an honor roll student and it's just a far-fetched dream of mine?
Dude, I was a C student.
Oh,
I
there
was
you go,
lazy.
G.
Yeah.
I was lazy as all get out, and that kid that would do well on tests but wouldn't do the homework, and that. And
Yeah,
then even
yeah.
as an undergrad in college, I think my GPA was like a 3.1. That's a B, but it's not,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah,
stellar.
yeah.
I didn't grow up and kind of figure school out until I got in grad school. But yeah, absolutely. Listen, if you,
Uh,
I know a guy that's going to be in Tournament of Champions that's a grocery store clerk. If you've got a
mhm.
love for knowledge and a love for, you're just good at trivia, yeah,
Yeah,
you can do it.
yeah. So,
How does
yeah.
one of my favorite movies growing up was White Men Can't Jump, right? And in that in that
Yeah.
in that in
You
that
relate really well to that, by the
in
way,
that
Matt.
movie,
But
yeah, I do, right? But in that movie, the character Rosie Perez's character is studying to be on Jeopardy, right? And
Right,
she's
oh
having
yeah, yeah,
her boyfriend kind of feed her questions and so
right,
forth, right? My
right.
question is, how does one go about studying
yeah.
for, I mean,
What is the
there's so many
preparation? What does the
topics, there's
preparation
so
look
many
like? Yeah.
questions. Like how do you
Right.
organize it?
Well, I talked to a lot of people that made flashcards and things like.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime something came up they didn't know, there's a website called J Archive that's got old Jeopardy questions on it, going
Oh,
back some
yeah.
years. You can look through that. I'm gonna be totally honest. I didn't prepare at all.
Wow.
I thought about
Yeah,
it,
that's
This is
awesome,
and I
man.
amazing.
thought, man, I ain't got time for this. I'm just gonna run with what God give me. And if it works, it works, and if it don't, it don't. And
Yeah,
it worked to an extent. So
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's
100% it worked.
amazing. I
You know, that
love
was
it.
my entire college career, man. That was
you and 85% of the student body, huh?
yeah. I'm just gonna go. You know what, Dr. Yancey? I'm gonna quote you every time I decide not to do something. I'm just gonna go ahead and go with what God gave me. That's
Yeah, what God gave
That's
you.
exactly
it.
gonna
Yeah,
be
There
my
you go.
question.
what God gave me.
Does it work with like significant others? Also, you think? Will my wife
Oh,
kind of?
nothing works with that. No, they this is so funny because
Yeah.
I wasn't an interview, but I was mentioned. It's not in the official Jeopardy podcast, but there's another one out there that I listened to the other day that they referred to me
Yeah.
as a delightful Southern gentleman, and I told my wife that, and she said, "Well, they don't have to live with you." And but every
Yeah.
time she gets irritated with me, I'd be
Yeah.
like, just remember, you're lucky to be married to a delightful Southern gentleman. And she
Yeah.
disagrees.
So that could be a question
Jeopardy
on
chant.
yeah, that could be a
Yeah.
question on a future episode is who is the delightful Southern gentleman? And the answer
Yeah.
would
There's
be,
only one.
what is Dr. William Yancey right there?
That's it. There's only one.
Who is, right? So yeah.
Right. Got to remember to phrase it that
That's
way.
funny. Now, does that, when people ask, in everyday life, people ask questions, you don't typically answer like who is or what is,
Right.
or does that kind of trip you up? Does it kind of, do you have to get used to doing that and get in a kind of a different frame of mind because you're on stage, or do you just
Yeah.
generally just answer questions in the form of a question?
I don't, but
Yeah.
I've been watching that show for 40 years, and I guess when it comes on, the brain clicks over.
That's
I didn't have
crazy.
any trouble with it. I have seen where some people will forget to phrase it in the form of a question, and
Yeah.
if it's early in the game, Ken Jennings will remind you of phrasing. If it's after the first commercial break and you don't do it, you just bang, you
Yeah.
miss it. But for me, it wasn't a problem just because I've been watching it that long.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
crazy. How did you feel being on the set of Jeopardy
Did it
the
take you
first
back?
time?
Yeah, like your
Yeah, like how
grandmother
did this
and
stuff?
like
Yeah,
grandma,
how
I
did
made it, like from those.
It
what were your
did.
thoughts? What were your feelings?
That's the first thing I thought was when I stepped on stage, I wish she were here to see this.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's
She had
amazing.
been she'd have told me two things: I'm proud of you, and the second thing was, and don't brag about it because you ain't no better than anybody else.
I
So
love that.
she always was about you.
Yeah.
You stay humble because you know don't get
Yeah.
her phrase was don't get too big for your britches.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
tell you what, when you get there, they
Mhm.
take you in a parking garage, and that's where they have you go through security. They have like a metal detector there and everything. And
Yeah.
then you go to the stage and you walk around the back and you walk, and as you're walking up these, there's only about 3 or 4 steps, but there's a sign that says the Alex Trabec stage.
Uh-huh.
That's when it hit me.
Wow.
That,
Wow.
and you walk in, and the first thing you see, I guess, Trabec was Canadian, and the Montreal Canadiens had given him a personalized jersey that said Trabec on the back of it, and it's hanging there on the wall. And I was like, okay, this
This
Mhm.
is
is real.
this is
Yeah.
real. This is serious.
That's
And then
amazing.
you go into a green room, and there's a lot of paperwork and stuff. But before
Mhm.
you go out, they take everybody out, and you do a couple of practice rounds, just to
Right.
get you used to being on stage and the buzzer. And the first time I went out for the practice round, it kind of hit me a little bit that, whoa, I'm here. This is it. This is real.
Yeah.
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 It was nuts.
Wow.
But the practice rounds are good because by the time I went out for the real thing, I'd already gotten that sort of sense of awe out of the way.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now I'm just locked into
Now you're
answering questions. Yeah.
Yeah. That is oh my gosh. How many
Yeah. It's like,
questions do you think in your lifetime have you answered playing the game of Jeopardy? Whether it be back home in Alabama or sitting on your couch, after dinner, whatever. Like, how many, just out of curiosity, how many questions do you think you've answered?
Geez, it's got to be tens of thousands. And because in addition to watching Jeopardy, I played Quiz Bowl in middle school, high school, and in college.
Okay.
I was on Jacksonville State's Quiz Bowl team for 3 years.
Wow.
Jacksonville State, which is your
Yeah.
alma mater. Yep.
That's correct. Go Cox.
Yep.
Yeah. That's right.
But and we were pretty good. I think I was in grads 95. We won the state champion. We beat Auburn, beat Alabama, beat UAB, beat everybody.
Mhm.
But anyway, back to your question, thousands. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
and
It's
that's
out
not even counting bar trivia, which
yeah.
is something all through grad school we did bar
Yeah.
trivia. And
Yeah.
It's just
So-
I'm amazed at your retention for knowledge, like how
Yeah.
you can retain so much knowledge, because obviously you're not given the categories when you go on the show, right?
right.
And so to think about how many different categories there are, and the amount of knowledge that needs to be known,
Yeah.
like it's insane to me, your retention.
Yeah.
Well,
To-
ask my wife about that because she complains I can't remember to take the trash out
Yeah.
when she asks. And
My-
then my response is always, "What's because my head's full of all this other stuff." So, what do you want? Do you want to be married to a Jeopardy champion, or do you want me to take the trash out? Can't have both.
oh my gosh. Oh
this is like a therapy session for me. I'm going to use all of these with my
Yeah.
wife. I mean, this is crazy.
Be like,
I didn't
babe,
e-
I'm
you know,
training.
I'm not going to pay for
I'm
this.
training.
I'm
There
gonna
you
pay for this.
Yeah, I'm training.
So-
I'm busy. I'm working.
So in connection with Matt's question, which was, I mean, obviously tens of thousands, right, of questions, but can you think of maybe one that kind of like you were like, whoa, man, I've
That
never heard
sticks out.
anything like that before, that kind of sticks out that
Yeah.
you can mention?
Well, I don't know if it's one that I didn't hear, but I'll tell you the one that bothers me the most. When I first went on Jeopardy I filmed in May, and I was leading the whole way. I had the lead going into Final Jeopardy and everything. I'm up
Mhm.
against a middle school teacher and an elementary school teacher, both very nice people. And the
Mhm.
final category was characters in fiction. And I'm thinking, okay, that could be anything. And then the clue pops up, and I had to bet enough that if the second place guy got it right and doubled, that I went over him,
Yeah.
right? Because he
Yeah,
caught
yeah,
up to
yeah.
me. So the clue comes up, and it's which character's first book begins with this quote? And it's something like, "I never wanted to be a half blood." There's something about a half blood, and I'm
Uh-huh.
like, "Oh, the only thing I can think of is Harry Potter." Well, it was Percy Jackson, and
Oh, yeah.
I'd heard of the Percy Jackson books before, but I was in my late 30s when those came out, and I'm up against a middle school and elementary school. So they went to the lady next to me first, and she said, and I thought maybe I had a chance at it being right, and she had it right, and I was like, well, this now I got to wait till the very end to hear how I lost the game. and I
Yeah.
did. So that's the one that sticks out. And friends and family hadn't let me forget it. I had friends offer to buy me the Percy Jackson books for Christmas.
Oh wow.
Um,
Yeah.
they got a big kick out. That's my family's kind of like that. If we love you, we'll tease you about something.
Yeah. Have you ever
Yeah.
seen the Percy Jackson movies since?
No, I want to. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. And by the way, the friend that offered to buy me the books, I saw her at Christmas time. I'm like, where are my books? You ain't got me
Yeah.
nothing.
We're
You said you was going to. I'll read them if you get them.
Yeah.
Now, at this point, I'm probably going to have to read them just so I can at least add that to my knowledge base and never get tripped up on it again.
You're right. You're right.
Do you go to, I mean, like, do you go to sleep thinking about like answers to questions, or like, I mean, it's
Yeah.
got to be, is it really hard to kind of turn off your brain and say, like,
Right. Yeah.
you know,
I have
hey,
a real
I
hard-
need to stop working and trying to be, you know, a Jeopardy champion. You know, I just need to be in the moment.
I have a hard time turning my brain off because I'm constantly thinking about, I think about history a lot because that's my job. I think about
Yeah.
school and students, and I actually for Christmas, my niece got me one of these little headbands with speakers in it to connect to
Uh-huh.
Bluetooth,
Oh,
and I'll
Yeah.
put on a lot
Yeah.
of rain sounds, and that helps me go to sleep more than it. Because if I don't have anything, then
Yeah.
my brain will just go. I mean, it's like I've got 50 squirrels up there running around chasing
That's
nuts.
crazy.
That's how I am with basketball, Dr. Yancey.
Yeah.
I hear you.
I gotta think about something else, or I'm just thinking about things, and I don't even coach anymore. That's crazy. I just
But you're thinking
make
about plays and
yeah,
setups and
yeah.
defenses.
Yeah.
I'm just
Now-
thinking about all the different things that
When-
could happen out there. It's crazy.
When you're on campus now and you're walking under those covered walkways, right? Do students stop you and give you high fives and be like,
Or-
you know, like,
Or yeah, but even then, like not just students at the university, but are you getting like
are you getting
noticed
love
at
in the
HE
community? Like,
are you getting noticed at HEB and the
Yeah.
HEB line, Dr. Yancey? That's what
Um,
we want to know. You're a celebrity
I
now. So let's
I've
be
got
honest.
no, yeah, not at on campus yet because the second chance episodes they aired the week of New Year's, so
Okay.
we haven't been back to school. We
you
don't
haven't
start
been back yet.
Mhm.
Okay.
21st.
Not yet.
The-
Not yet.
I did get recognized for the first time in the wild this week. I was
In
in
the
a
wild, huh?
Starbucks in Kingsville. I had to go down to Kingsville for something, and somebody came in and said, "You look familiar. Were you on Jeopardy?" And I said, "Yeah, I was." And it was this nice older couple from Harlingen. They were on their way up to Fort Worth. Their daughter was having a baby, and they just sat and talked with me for about 10 or 15 minutes, nice as they could be. Now, I
Yeah.
did when I was on the first time. That episode aired in September, so I had told my students I was going to be on.
Okay.
And you know how students are. Some of them watched it and they were, I had some come back and go, "I could have told you Percy Jackson was the answer," and I was like, "Well,
That's never gonna let. They're never gonna let that
yeah,
go.
but how many of the others would you got?" Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But
Because
what-
you
but
got
it's-
to that Percy Jackson quote.
Right.
Yeah.
But I did have one right before I went back out in November. One of my students came up to me after class and said, "Hey, when are you going to be on Jeopardy?" I said, "Hon, that was like 6 weeks ago." Just,
Yeah.
bless her
Yep.
heart.
Yeah.
So, no,
Wow.
not yet. I've only been recognized in the wild once, but
Well,
no, I take that back. We live in a real small town, just a little west of Corpus Christi called Banquetti, and every time I go to the we got our little post office there. Somebody will slow down, stop, and say, "Hey," but there's only
Yeah.
like 400 and something people in that place, so it's
hey,
Okay.
well, Dr. Yancey, be ready because after being on
Oh, after
Saddle Up,
this, I mean,
it's good. It's gonna blow up. You're
Yeah.
gonna get autographs at HEB.
we might have
okay?
to
Just
have you
remember
sign
that.
a release for because you're going to get followed, and you're going to get Wing Barn gift
Where-
certificates too. So they
That's
might
right. Well,
recognize you in Wing Barn.
you're gonna play.
Oh,
We're gonna
sweet.
play. Yeah, we're gonna play our own speed round of questions. It's gonna be a lot easier than Jeopardy, I assume.
Okay.
But we
Gonzalo
definitely
Jennings over here. Yeah.
a tribute to Alex Trabec. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. But man, this has been amazing. You're and not just what you've accomplished, and obviously, I think probably your students could probably love you, because you're probably a hoot in the classroom. I mean,
Yeah.
I would love for you to be one of my professors as well. I just want to, you make me want to go back to school, Dr. Yancey. Hey, just kind of enroll back. And what's crazy is I'm going to go ahead and refer back to the last episode. Is I got offered to play college football UTRGV by Coach
Yep.
Bush, Dr. Yancey. So
Yeah.
perhaps you might see me in one of your classrooms,
Yeah.
because I'm gonna have to take some credits. Some
Yeah.
credits.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah.
It's
Sweet.
it's
he-
totally
you know,
It's
I thought about talking to Coach Bush because I played ball, but it's been 35 years.
no,
And
you got
my,
you got to
my,
walk on, man.
my, my high school coach back then, he told me, Yancey, you got deceptive speed. You even slower than you look. So
Hey,
I don't think they need a 53-year-old guy playing tackle or guards. Well,
hey,
I'm gonna sit
but
in the stands and watch.
Well,
Just
that's
like
what I
all my-
tried to, Dr. Yancey. That's what I tried to tell G, that they don't need somebody of his talent and his caliber. And
Oh
he still got offered the scholarship, and he accepted. So
yeah, I
Sweet.
accepted it. So I think they're gonna. I
And
think they'll probably regretting that
and
decision.
yeah,
but
and then you know
yeah.
what they do, Dr. Yancey, right after he commits, they sign like 2 other quarterbacks that are like
Yeah,
18
I'm
years
like,
old.
dude.
So it's like, all right, well, that's gonna be a great quarterback room right
So-
there. So
There you go.
Yeah, if you get a chance, go back and watch Coach Bush's episode that we had with him.
I
He
will.
literally benches me on that show.
he cuts
So
you right there.
he cut me. So I asked him a question: "Is hey, if I'm your QB, what kind of and it's a late end of game situation, what kind of pep talk would you give me?" He goes, "Well, I'd send you right to the bench." I said,
Yeah,
"Okay, man."
he basically said, is his backup ready? So
Is your backup ready?
That
'Cause
sort of thing.
yeah, but man, Dr. Yancey, you're a ray of light, man. You're a ray of sunshine, and we it's awesome everything you've been able to accomplish, and also we want to send a shout out to the university because the
Mhm.
university just keeps hiring awesome individuals on
Yep.
not only on the athletic side but on the academic side. And we're starting to we had Dr. Saavedra, one of
Mhm.
Matt's
She
professors.
was my communications professor. She was my favorite professor when I was there at school.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
Dr. Doris Saavedra. Shout out. She was the one that
Shout
got
out.
me in touch with you.
Yep.
But I absolutely love her, and there's so much talent. Dr. Maggie,
Yep.
there in the administration, right there with Dr. Bailey. So
Yeah, we've had and having faculty on like you, we're just highlighting the awesomeness of the university. Not only we've had a lot of people on the athletic side, but also on the academic side. So kudos to you and your department and
yeah.
all the professors doing doing God's work with all of these students where they're trying to find their way and they're trying to find the what they're going to do with their life, and you're definitely a beacon for them.
I have one question. You said that you've kind
Yeah.
of been spotted out in the wild. Where does Dr. Yancey like to go
Yeah.
in the valley?
Woo. That's right. That's a good one.
I
That's a
mean,
good
what
one.
is your favorite? Where do you take the wife? Where is y'all's favorite spot to go kind of eat and just kind of hang
In the
out there in the
wild.
valley? In the wild.
Out in the wild, Dr. Yancey.
Okay. I love Khan's Grill right there on University across from campus.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Matter of fact, it got to be an addiction at one point. It was like Norm on Cheers. I'd walk in and they'd ask me, they'd say, Dr. Yancey, we got your favorite table for you right over here. And I thought, I may be eating here too much. I like Khan's. I love me some Delia's. I got to have tamales.
Oh,
One
yeah.
of the things I
Wow.
love
Yeah.
about living in South Texas is that Thanksgiving, Christmas time means tamales. And
Yeah.
I am all about tamales.
All about tamales. Had you ever
That
been to
is
South
awesome.
Texas before? I mean, you grew up in the South, right? Alabama.
Right.
But
And then I lived in Dallas for
Mhm.
20 years.
okay.
And I'd been, I think, to Corpus once or twice, been to Laredo once, San Antonio
Mhm.
several times, but never to the Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah. To the
and
real
then in
valley. The real 956. Yeah.
That's right. And then in 2017, so I graduated with my doctorate from North Texas in 2016. And my
Yeah.
first full-time job was at A&M Kingsville. So I was in
Mhm.
Kingsville for a while.
Yep.
4.5 years, and then I got the job at UTRGV, and I tell you, I just fell in love with the Valley. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
The people are. I tell friends at home, people down here are just like they are at home. We like to crack jokes, we like beer, and we like to eat.
Yep.
That's
the top three right there, man.
that,
And
you know,
and the Mexican
you know,
food is amazing. Like
it's unbelievable.
yeah.
And it's been a great experience. Like I knew I had made it with people down there when the university, I think there's a web page or a Facebook account called UTRGV Newsroom, and they put out a post about me winning. And somebody commented under it, "Puro Vaquero," and I'm like, I've made it. They're
Puro
cheering me
Vaquero
on in
956,
Spanish.
baby.
There you go. There you go.
956, cuh.
Well,
Uncle,
I mean,
Uncle
I don't,
Vaquero,
you know,
baby.
you're about to be on the Saddle Up Facebook, and we've got some followers, and you're about to be on the Saddle Up podcast. So, you know, I hope you feel the same way about being on our show, right? And
Oh yeah, man, this has been a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys.
Hey, G, we got about 5 more minutes left, so
let's do this. Let's do this. So we're gonna do a little wing barn speed round of questions, this or that, and then I got a few, just a few Jeopardy type questions at the end, just for fun, Dr. Yancey. Okay, so we're gonna do this or that. So I'll give you, you'll just pick whichever one.
One or the other.
It's a lot easier than Jeopardy, but we want to give away some wing barn gift cards, and I'll make sure that I come by and hand you those gift cards and get to meet you in person one day. But we'll set that up. So all right, here we go. Rain or shine?
Shine.
Yes, sir. Hot dogs or burgers?
Kind of situational, ain't it? But
Yeah.
as a general rule, burgers.
All right. Coffee or tea?
Oh, coffee. I
Coffee,
kill people
oh,
if
yeah,
I don't
big-
have coffee. I can do without.
Yeah, you seem like a coffee drinker to me, man.
Yeah.
Now I am from Alabama, so we like our tea so sweet it's country. I mean, it's crunchy.
That's right.
But,
That's right.
Yeah.
But you're going to sip on an espresso. Yeah, I got you. Comedy or drama? I think I know this.
Comedy.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Candy or popcorn?
Popcorn on account of the sugar diabetes.
Got it. Ketchup or mustard?
Ketchup.
Okay. Shoes or sandals?
Again, situational. Shoes. Hey, I got ugly feet. Nobody want to see those.
That's awesome. All right. Half full or half empty?
Half full. Let's be optimistic.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
you seem
Every
like the
day.
half full kind of type
All
of
day.
Yeah,
All day, every
all
day,
day.
baby. Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
Yeah. Dogs or
Where I'm
cats?
from, every dark soda is Coke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey.
I grew up like, hey, can I get a Coke? And they were like, well,
Yeah.
they would bring you
What
a
kind?
Coke.
What do
you
And I'm
want?
like, no, I wanted a Dr. Pepper. And
Dr.
then-
Pepper, Pepsi, or Coke, man? What do you
Yeah.
want? Hey,
Yeah.
dogs, cats, or parrots? Oh, man. I had to throw that one in there, Coke.
Dogs and parrots. I've got both.
Yes,
Love it.
sir. All right. Early bird or night owl? I think I know this.
Night owl.
Yeah. Unless you turn it off, thanks to your niece.
Right.
Yeah.
Books or movies?
Books.
Yeah. All right. Well, no one that's pretty obvious, because we're not book readers. We can never be on Jeopardy. Yeah. I don't think Matt's ever finished a book. Matt, have you ever finished a book?
I have. And
Don't-
real
hey,
quick,
don't-
I got
Cliff
one
notes
question
don't
though.
count. Cliff
You
notes
read a
don't
lot of
count.
books. You read a lot of books, right? But do you ever gain knowledge from do you watch a lot of documentaries, or is it just strictly like literature and kind of just reading and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I have to read a lot of nonfiction. I'll read a lot of history to keep up anyway. But
Yeah.
it's mostly that kind. I don't watch documentaries too much. Sometimes I do.
Okay.
But
Eli.
I'm just curious.
But
Matt
you're
likes
talking
murder
about
docs.
reading books. There's a lot of movie questions that show up on
Yeah.
there. A lot
Yeah.
of Broadway questions, and I suck at all of them.
Really?
So that's the downside of being a book guy.
Hey, you need to take your wife to New York. Let to see a Broadway show. Get your.
Well,
Take a couple
I
of some of
may
that
have to
winnings
before it's
and
all over with.
and take
Hopefully, she doesn't see this.
Yeah.
All right, three. Let's see if we can get these right, Dr. Yancey. I'm gonna put you on the spot. All right.
Okay.
So hit. We introduced ourselves. That's Matt, and I'm G. Okay, just to let you know, just to remind you. All right.
The guy won
All right.
Jeopardy. He's
This
not gonna
podcast-
forget, dude. Come on, man. Like,
hey,
geez.
I'm just reminding you. This podcast is the best podcast ever created.
Oh, that's true, without a doubt.
No, but
Oh.
you got to answer it in Jeopardy style,
In
right?
form of
Oh.
question. You
Yeah,
gotta
in
phrase it.
form of a question. Yeah, this podcast is
What
the best
is?
podcast ever created. What is?
Oh, what is the Saddle Up podcast?
Yeah, yes, all right,
That's a
man.
clip.
That's correct. That's correct. These these two hosts are the most intelligent podcasters in podcasting.
Who are Matt and G, unequivocally.
God bless. God.
This is why you stayed up so late last night. You was trying to phrase these questions.
You know what? Hey, Dr. Yancey, you know how long it took me to actually come up with these questions in the form of a Jeopardy question? It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's harder than it sounds.
It really is. This university is the best university in Texas, and it's not Jackson State.
What is the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, V's up?
I love
He's
it.
up, baby.
I love it. I love it. Dr. William Yancey, you are a true Southern gentleman and just an all-around kind and great
Yes.
person. And I can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your day and join our little show and talk about your experience, because as an alumni of the university, we are extremely proud of you, and I wish you
Thank you
all
so
the
much.
success and the blessings to you and your wife.
Thank you so much. And guys, this was a real pleasure. It was a lot of fun. You have made I'll be a regular listener from here on out.
Awesome.
We appreciate that.
Thank you, Dr. Yancey.
And you're welcome back at any time. If you decide to go on Jeopardy again, let us know. If you've got a spur in your ass to go on like Price is Right, let us know. I'll show up. Because I've always wanted to be on the Price is Right. Because
And I've always wanted to be on Press Your Luck. No whammies, no whammies.
They got rid of that show a long time ago, G, but Price is Right is still around.
We got to bring that back, bud. We got to bring that back.
Yeah. Wheel of Fortune, maybe that was
that's
we
a good
spent
one.
some time in the Wheel of Fortune studio. They took us through there at one point, and I wanted to spin that wheel so bad. And I'm looking at it, and the people are saying, "Don't touch it. You can't go touch it." I'm like, I'm sitting there in my mind calculating I could break away from the pack and spin it before anybody could get to me. But at the same time, they'd probably kick me off the show. So I played it straight.
Man. That's amazing.
Good job, because you would have never
Yancey,
made it to Saddle Up. I'm glad you played it straight, Dr. Yancey.
If you ever do spin the wheel and you get locked up, you can call us collect. G will accept the charges.
We'll bail you. We'll bail you out. No problem.
You guys are the best.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Take care. We'll see you next week, guys. V's up.
Take care,
V's
guys.
up,
Thank
baby.
you.
Like, we weren't supposed to come up with something this clean. Like, something happened